Hey, what's up? So, Directus, what is it, and how do you manage schema in Directus? That's kind of what was a big issue when implementing Directus in several different sort of personal projects, and also at a couple different enterprises that I've worked for that have used Directus. There's a very common problem, especially with headless CMSs that sit on top of SQL databases, which is schema management and schema management between different environments, right? So, kind of the logical bridge that you have to cross to get to this problem is okay, I have now set up my schema the way that I like it. It works well with my front end. It works well with my integrations. It works well with everything. Everything's nice and cohesive. But now I'm running into the problem where I have this version of my database, but then this is in kind of my local environment or my dev environment or whatever. But now I need to push this to a production that can remain stable, and whenever I make any changes, will automatically update the schema with those changes, which ran into a big problem. And, it wasn't just me that had this problem. This was back in 2021, around the same time. It was a little bit after Directus 9 had come out. The big question was, how do I migrate schema? A lot of people had this issue. Some people went with the idea of, well, I'll basically use migration scripts and sort of create the collections myself. And whenever I make a change to the schema of Directus, I'll go ahead and actually create a migration file individually for it. And that's fine, but that's also a lot of work. And from a technical user and a non-technical user's perspective, it kind of kills the whole point of Directus sort of being able to manage schema in sort of a low code, no code way. Now you're kind of going back to, I mean, at this point, you might as well just use an ORM at this point, Prisma or whatever. So what was their solution? They went through tons of discussion about how to manage this, and they eventually landed at this PR right here, native schema migration capabilities, where essentially now you can do something with their CLI where you do npx directus schema snapshot. And what this does is it generates a YAML file. This YAML file then can be applied to another database and actually see the diffs between it, and it's quite good. They even give you a little snippet here of creating sort of like a directory of snapshots. And so this definitely helps sort of the CI/CD pipeline with schema management. And today I just wanted to give a brief little demonstration on how to actually use this and how to apply it and whatnot. So I have a little Directus example here, so I'm going to do npx directus init, and I'm going to set up a little test instance. Um, and just to say, kind of as these commands kind of, oh, I'm sorry, I have to npm init. Uh, just to say, Directus is awesome. I've used it for so many personal projects, and I've used it at my job. I've used it at multiple jobs, and it really is awesome. They've done a really good job at making it extremely extendable, and I think yeah, I think that they've done an excellent job. So I'm going to go ahead and do npx directus start, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the URL here and do admin at example.com and password. So here is an example. Imagine that this is sort of your Directus instance that you have set up for whatever. Say that we're making a shipping company and we have an order object here that has a generate UUID, and it's got all these fields. And we have it has like a name, and then say that we have a product or something like that. All right. That also generates a UUID. Same kind of thing, has a bunch of fields. And we have the product have a relationship with what order it's a part of. I don't know. All right. It's just an example. And we have a corresponding products, many to one field on the other. Sorry, I have to select the order collection products one to many, and good. So here's a little example, and I'll even give it a little icon. I'll say that we do like a shopping cart or something. I don't know. So this is our order, and we can put a product in an order. Uh, say money. I don't know. I'm just giving you an example of the once it applies, kind of everything that it does apply. So we have this schema now, and say that this is sort of in our dev environment, and what we want to do ideally is be able to migrate this to a production environment. So what we can do is we can do npx directus schema. I gotta remember it. npx directus schema snapshot, and then the file name snapshot, and then we'll just say schema.yaml. Now, you know, the ideal is that you have this in sort of an npm script, and this would run sort of as a CI/CD pipeline. So maybe this is in a Docker file, or somewhere along the build process. This automatically, say that you have somewhere in your process that when a pull request is merged, it will automatically generate the schema and the differences in the schema. And every time that you do one of these snapshots, it will generate sort of a diff file. So YAML. Um, so let's just run this, and you'll see it'll boot up the Directus instance, and it will generate this. Now, if we just take a look here at this schema.yaml file, I mean, it's brilliant. It basically has everything that we would want in here. It captures all the fields, it captures all the relationships. It's really excellent. So now we're going to go into sort of a production environment, and we're going to do the same sort of commands. We're going to boot up a new, and ideally you would have this sort of, instead of init, you would bootstrap a environment variable. But in this case, we're going to init because we're just creating a new instance. I'm going to do SQLite again. Get the same thing, email, whatever. Okay, so here we are. We have this instance now running. So what we can actually do is do npx directus apply, or schema apply, and then if we just point it to our schema.yaml file, you'll notice something pretty interesting. It will actually go ahead and I love this. I love that it lists this out in such a verbose way. It might be annoying to some people, but it's really nice to be able to see exactly what it's doing. So what it does is it looks at the current schema, the current state of the schema, and then it will look at what the schema.yaml, and it will apply the difference. So here we're creating an order and a product. We're creating all these fields for the order and the product, and then we're setting up the relationships between the order and the product. And that all looks good. So I'm going to hit yes, and there we go. Screenshot applied successfully. So now if I just go into here and I do Directus start, and I now log into our production instance, you can see that we have our order and our product. It saves the folder, how it's like slightly indented. It saves the icons, and you can see it saved all the fields as well. So if I go to product, you can see that I have my order and my status. So this is a game changer, in my opinion, for the CI/CD pipeline for Directus. And I'm gonna come out with more Directus videos, kind of as I'm trying to do sort of daily videos just to capture some stuff. So if you liked it, like it. If you didn't, then you can dislike it, I guess. But yeah, thanks for watching, you guys, and I will see you in the next one.